Should I put it on?
What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Hot Stove Podcast, aka The Return. I had to say that because I didn't look up the number of the episode again. This is episode 61. Episode 61 of the Hot Stove Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Nunez. We're joined here by Mark, Josh, and Austin, as per usual. And we're back. It's been a while. This is the first time in almost 4 months that we've recorded a podcast. A couple things right off the top. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell as well, so you know when we're dropping that fire content, because we're back in full force here in the fall of 2022. Also follow us on Twitter at Hot Stove Pod. It's at Hot Stove Pod on Twitter. Other than that, I'd just like to say welcome back. Thank you to anybody who's watching. It's been a while, and we're really in much of a position as content creators or as a podcast to just drop off the face of the planet for a few months, but we did. And here we are. I will say though, we gained like 10 subs while we were gone, which was
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know where those came from, but
shout out to the people.
Shout out to the people voicing their support for the stove while we're gone. And guess what? We're back, mother effers. So today we've got a big episode. I've got trivia. We're gonna ramp that back up, and then we're gonna get into our NFL season preview. We're gonna talk main storylines for the season. That starts 10 days from today as we're recording this on Monday, August 29th. The NFL season is right around the corner. America's real pastime is back. All right.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh,
that's crazy.
Hell yeah, give me some emoji.
Yeah, give me another one, Austin. Yeah. Let me give one. Let me see if I can give one. A birthday cake. Can I give a birthday cake?
Damn, dude, we got props now? Shit. Does this count as graphics? Can I put this on my resume?
There we go. I just took out LeBron Jahamas. And I go, happy birthday. Happy birthday. We're coming up on 4 years of Hot Stove, by the way. September 18th, I think. I'll have to go back and look at the Twitter. But the first Snapchat message I have saved in the group chat is me sending you guys the rundown for the very first episode of Hot Stove. And that was September 18th, 2018. So I don't know exactly when the day of the episode was. That's when I sent you that. So I'll have to take a look at that. But
I was a guest for that. And still am just a recurring guest.
Yeah, that's true. Your Twitter handle is in the bio.
A weekly guest.
Yeah, a weekly guest. So yeah, we're gonna be talking season preview, big storylines coming into the year. We've got some futures betting, some season long bets that we like. And then we're going to be talking about our playoff predictor results. As you guys know, if you see them on Twitter, we do those every year. And we're talking about what teams we have in the playoffs, who we've got playing in the Super Bowl, and who we've got that are going to be picking high in the 2023 NFL draft. But first, before we get started, Hot Stove Trivia is back. And I've got 2 questions.
Did we restart the points?
No. They're year-long points. Yeah, this is the leaderboards for 2022.
Honestly, probably for the best. Most of that would have been baseball. We capped Mark a little bit.
Yeah, I will say I feel cheated missing most of baseball season to answer baseball trivia.
Luckily enough for you, Mark, I have like 8 baseball questions queued up here that we're just saving for other episodes. So.
Okay, cool. All right, never mind. The rest of the season is no longer under protest like it was going to be.
All right, Josh, you raised your hand. What would you like to say?
Oh, no, sorry. That was a mistake.
All right, so we've got 2 trivia questions here. The first one is going to be Price is Right style. Closest without going over this number is going to get the point for it. If all of you go over, the house, a.k.a. me, gets the point. Just putting that out there. So here's a stat from the 2021 NFL season. Cordero Patterson and Deebo Samuel, the two of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They combined for 14 rushing touchdowns last year between the two of them. How many rushing touchdowns did every other wide receiver in the NFL have combined in 2021?
Well,
closest without going over gets it. You each get one guess at a number.
So rushing touchdowns? Is that what you said?
Rushing touchdowns, yes.
That's true because Cedric Wilson was balling out. Everybody knew it.
Yeah, everybody knew.
Wow, that's possible.
Powerful forehand return right there. I'd probably say, I got my pick. Let me say
Go right
6.
ahead.
Say 6.
All right, I was gonna say 8, so that really gives me a good shot at winning this one.
I'm going to go with 13.
The point goes to Mark Rollins. The answer is 14.
Oh, that was going to be my initial guess. I was just like, it's either the same or one below.
Yeah, I appreciate Mark not doing the whole 9-bit there. He could have easily just said 9.
Yeah, you could have. That's true. No, 14. Cordero Patterson and Deebo Samuel had 14 rushing touchdowns last year. The rest of the wide receivers in the NFL combined had 14 rushing touchdowns last season. There's a little something to nibble on there. Next one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 points to give away in this next question.
More than 8.
Since 2014 in the NFL, 9 receivers have had at least 10 forced missed tackles, like 10 broken tackles, and 2 or more yards per route run in their rookie season.
Jesus.
Holy shit.
Okay.
10
Lamar
broken
Chase.
tackles. Let me finish talking.
Oh, well,
10
I like
broken
your guess.
tackles, over 2 yards per route run in a rookie season since 2014.
All right, Mark, you guess.
Jamar Chase.
No, Jamar Chase is not one of them. Yes, Josh.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley is also not one of them.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown is correct. You
DJ
can just
Moore?
say the answers, Mark. No, it's not DJ Moore.
Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson is correct.
Fuck shit. You stole my answer. That's why we raise hands.
My hand was raised. He told me
Mark
I
did
just
raise his
talk.
hand.
It was.
Austin, hand raise.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit,
Austin.
my hand was raised. Konnichiwa? I don't have an answer. Oh, it's my turn.
Yes, Josh.
Amari Cooper.
No.
CD Lamb.
No.
Trying to think, he's got to be elusive. He's got to be quick. Austin.
Look, I'm looking up years right now for you guys. So if you want to just spit out answers, I'm not looking at the Skype screen.
Austin's hand has been raised this entire time. Refuses to put it down.
I just don't want to lose my spot, you know?
So what do we have? 3? We have 3 of the 9?
You have Justin Jefferson, AJ Brown.
Oh, 2.
There's
DK
7.
Metcalf.
Incorrect.
Ooh.
Tyler Lockett.
Nope.
Wow, I can't believe 2014 was 8 years ago. That changes my perspective on this. I feel like it was yesterday.
There's a specific reason it's 2014, by the way.
I figure. I hate this guy, but Jerry Jeudy.
No.
Okay.
Odell.
Odell is correct. He's the reason it was in the bench was set at 2014.
Yeah.
D-Hop.
Nope.
He's been around longer than that, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Kenneth G.
Penny Holiday? No.
He's talking about Kenneth Gainwell.
I just ran the numbers here. We have 2 receivers from the 2016 class. We have 1 receiver from the 2017 class. We have 2 receivers from 2019 and 1 receiver from 2021.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas is one of the receivers from 2016.
This is a wild guess. Elijah Moore?
No.
Yeah.
Robert Woods.
Also incorrect.
That was a stretch. That was an early Robert Woods call.
Mike Van Pitmull.
Michael Pittman was a 2020 rookie. No.
Juju?
Also incorrect.
Dude, I'm gonna fucking kill someone. Hunter Renfrow.
Hunter Renfrow.
Yes.
Correct, Josh.
Yes.
Okay. So of the 4 remaining, we have 2016, 2017, 2019, and 2021.
Oof.
Who the hell else was a rookie last year?
Jarvis
Deontay
Landry?
Johnson.
Sorry.
No and no. I'll give you a hint. 2 of these receivers were special in a very particular way last season.
Deebo Samuel?
Deebo Samuel was one of them.
Cordero Patterson?
Josh, you're right. Cooper Kupp is the other.
Oh.
Wow.
What?
Yeah. The one thing that the hell's his name, Austin? That guy. The one thing he got right.
Oh yeah, Peter King or something like that.
Yeah. Are we sure it wasn't Peter Schrager?
Yeah, maybe it was Peter Schrager. It was Peter. Someone named Peter.
So we've got 2016 and 2021.
Devante Smith?
No.
Devante Smith?
He was 2020, wasn't he?
No, he was a rookie last year. He's just
rookie last year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
No, he
Yeah,
just
the Eagles
stinks.
tried the year before with Jalen Reagor. That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's right. It was
T. Higgins?
Nope.
Who the heck was a rookie last year?
One of these players changed
Waddle?
teams this offseason. It's not Jalen Waddle.
No.
Tyreek Hill.
No.
Tyreek Hill is correct, Austin.
Wait.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
It is not Amon-Ra St.
No,
Brown.
someone who didn't run any routes. Kadarius Toney.
Correct, Austin.
Oh.
Kadarius Toney is the final answer. Yeah. Kadarius Toney played 10 games last year. I wish I had the amount of routes he ran pulled up, but it was enough to qualify for the stat. So take that as you will. But yeah, Justin Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, A.J. Brown, Hunter Renfrow, Cooper Kupp, Tyreek Hill, Michael Thomas, Odell Beckham Jr., and Kadarius Toney are the 9 receivers that in the last 8 seasons have had at least 10 forced missed tackles and more than 2 yards per route run in the rookie season. Fun fact. So, as we move on, we'll update the people on the trivia standings here. In first place is Mark with 37 points. Austin has 20 points in second place. Josh has 16 points in third place. And then in fourth place is special guest Plum Bum with 7.
Shame.
The Sham. Yeah, he has 7 points. So, with that out of the way, let's get into the 2022-2023 NFL season. And we'll look at it first, big picture. Let's talk about some of some of the most interesting storylines here. I asked each of you guys to come up with one big thing that you're looking at in the NFL this season. I will go first with mine. And the thing that I was thinking about this morning, a little bit of a shower thought I had actually, was that I think this year is a pretty big put up or shut up year for a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Off the top of my head, I think of Tua Tagovailoa as the most prevalent example. I think of Daniel Jones. I think of Baker Mayfield. I think of, to a lesser extent, and Josh and I were talking about this before, in terms of in-season put up or shut up are Ryan Tannehill. I think of a Marcus Mariota to an extent. I think of a Jameis Winston. That's another example. In a lot of ways, there are a lot of quarterbacks this year who Jalen Hurts, yeah.
Jalen Hurts, yeah.
There are plenty of different examples on this spectrum. I think Jalen Hurts tends to be on the higher end, given that he's on the best team that we've mentioned. But yeah, I mean, the Eagles are in a position where they have the rest of the roster built out. If they decide that they don't, if Jalen Hurts isn't who they want to keep going forward with, then they have a great position to be able to lure in any sort of wayward veteran quarterback next offseason. Carson Wentz as well.
I was about to say I can't wait for Carson Wentz to be back in midnight green.
Carson Wentz is another example of a quarterback. Like, this is kind of his last shot. Really. So I think there are a lot of quarterbacks this year that can make it. So frankly, I think next quarterback offseason could be even more spooky and scary than this one. You know, we have the impending, I assume, retirement of Tom Brady coming next offseason.
Buddy, you got to wait at least 7 years. He's going to be 53 years old.
Another one is Kirk Cousins. The Vikings can move on from Kirk Cousins after this season. You know, it's this is the year for him to prove that he is still, I mean, he's young enough. This is the year for him to prove that he's still the Vikings quarterback moving forward. So I think there are a lot of teams worth looking out for that have quarterbacks that not only have things to prove. I mean, there are plenty of other quarterbacks with things to prove. All of the rookies from last year have things to prove in their second year, but like things to prove in the sense of like, this is their shot to keep their job as a consistent NFL starter. And it's going to be fascinating to watch. And Josh and I were talking about this before, and we'll get into a little bit later when we talk standings for the season. But like, I don't think Tennessee's going to be all that great this year. I don't think they'll be bad. I don't think they'll be a train wreck. But if they are, if things go poorly, like very poorly for the Titans, how long does it take for them to start Malik Willis? That's a big question coming into the season. It's the same thing with the Falcons. Like, I think the Falcons could honestly be a little bit of fun. Their defense should suck, but their offensive line sucks. But like, their offense could be fun. But if it's a train wreck, how long does it take for Desmond Ridder to start for the Falcons? How long does it take for is it Sam Howell in Washington or Matt Corral?
Yep.
Sam Howell.
Matt Corral's in Carolina.
Yeah, and Matt Corral also is out for the year.
Sam Howell also apparently looking really good.
Well, this is the thing. Like, if Carson Wentz sucks, do we see Sam Howell this year? Maybe. We might. You know?
I like the storyline. I like it.
I am very interested in seeing what all of this quarterback movement means coming into the next offseason, because personally, as an NFL fan, or as a sports fan in general, I mean, the NBA trade deadline is one of my favorite days of the year. I thrive on chaos, and I love player movement in general. So I think that even more so than what we saw this past offseason, especially because next year is a really good quarterback draft class, we could see a lot of upheaval and a lot of shaking and moving at the quarterback position in the NFL. And a lot of those storylines are going to play out over the course of this season. So what about you guys? Who wants to go next with their big storyline of the year?
I've got one that sort of piggybacks off of yours, because you mentioned one of like this guy in your group of quarterbacks. Jameis Winston. This is the year. He's going to be healthy, hopefully. He can see. Jameis Winston can see.
Yeah, people snooze. This man played with bad vision for the first 5 years.
He was blind and threw for 5,000 yards and 33 touchdowns. We don't have to talk about the interception number. He was blind. So
he threw for 30 of them bitches too.
Yeah, he did. Listen, people talk about 30-30 in baseball all the time. I'd argue much more impressive in the NFL if you're a quarterback to throw 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions.
I'd like to also just to pause you for a second. Breaking news: Albert Pujols just hit another home run. We're on Pujols 700 watch the rest of the season. I believe that's 694 now.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So just like to point that out. Anyways,
my
Mark.
my dad told me the Cards in the over tonight. Lock.
How's it looking so far?
They're up 8-0 in the third.
It's
there you go.
Luck.
There you go.
I think it's a runaway. Yeah.
But legitimately, it's not even just Jameis Winston. I think the Saints are going to be really interesting this year. What is this team without Sean Payton? Michael Thomas is back potentially. I believe he's supposed to play week 1.
Maybe he has a hamstring injury right now.
Yeah, but if not, it'll only be a couple of weeks. But even then, they went out and got Jarvis Landry, got a guy like Marquez Callaway. There's one other.
Also drafted Chris Olave in the first round.
Yeah, Olave. Yeah, he was the one I was missing. Yeah, they drafted Chris Olave. You can't say Jameis doesn't have weapons. I mean, it really seems like weapons-wise, this has potential to be a really good offense. You still got Alvin Kamara. Like, there's a lot of things that I think are really interesting in New Orleans, and I'm not sure how good they're going to be without Sean Payton. I'm not sure how their offense is going to work, but they've got the same offensive coordinator, and the new guy, I'm blanking on his name, the new coach.
The coach, Dennis Allen, he's been their defensive coordinator forever.
He was their DC, and he was Sean Payton's right-hand man for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think even without a Hall of Fame coach, I think the Saints really could improve upon last year. I believe they went 8-9 last year, and they can improve and actually be a playoff contender this year because that offense looks scary.
Yeah, well, I think the questions around New Orleans roster may remain on the offensive line, specifically who they're starting on the outside. Now that
is that they drafted that horrible guy, right?
Trevor Penning, who keeps fighting people. Yes.
Yeah. Refuses to stop fighting.
Yeah. Well, there's a Teron Armstead-sized hole on that offensive line. But I also think defensively they're still really talented.
Oh, really? Defense. Didn't they get a Honey Badger?
Yeah, so they downgraded him. They downgraded at both of their safety spots from Malcolm Jenkins and Marcus Williams to Marcus May and Tyrann Mathieu, who are still
really good.
Who are still good players. Yeah, yeah.
Is Malcolm
that's the
Jenkins
thing.
still an elite talent at this age? Is he really
played
good?
Great football last year.
He was really good for them last year.
Yeah.
Where is Malcolm nowadays?
I think he retired.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I don't know if he's on a team.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I think defensively they should still be pretty talented. I worry a little bit about depth on the defensive side of the ball for them in particular. But yeah, I mean, it's all going to come down. It's almost all on Jameis's head this year.
I got to be honest. I was more of a Mariota guy in that draft just because I watched more of Mariota. I watched every Oregon game that year. But Winston, since coming to the NFL, I don't really get the hate. The guy has shown to be
9,000 interceptions, to be fair.
He was blind.
Yeah.
He got one pretty bad Uber review.
You
know what I mean?
He also stole some lobsters, am I right?
Yeah. He got a pretty bad Uber review.
But he does like eating W's.
Legitimately, the guy had seriously impaired vision and was still really solid. I'm not going to sit here and say he was great, but he was still really solid. And then last year, before it was ACL, I believe, before the ACL, he looked good. You know, he wasn't throwing with the same volume that he did in Tampa Bay, just because that's not how they were running their offense. He didn't really have a great receiving.
Bruce Arians wasn't calling the play.
Yeah. So he wasn't throwing with the same volume, but when he was throwing, his throwing looked a lot better, and it looked a lot more accurate. So I think giving this guy a full season of full vision and really solid weapons, look out, man. I really think he can do some damage in New Orleans.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what it looks like. Who wants to go next? Josh or Austin?
I'll go next. After that lunacy was just spat for 10 minutes. No. I'm just joshing you.
Guy believes
He's
number
just
one
fucking with you.
overall pick can
Yeah,
be good.
I'm just fucking with you.
He's just fucking with you.
No, I'm excited. I think the storyline this year is parity. I think that like we're finally at a point in time where like I don't think there's dominant teams in each conference that we expect to go to the Super Bowl and win it all. Like the Chiefs for the past 4 years. I just in the AFC, I think there's 8 teams that you could win the Super Bowl at the end of the year, and I wouldn't be shocked at all. I don't know. There'd be no surprise to me, and I think the NFC is kind of a similar way where they all are beating up on each other, and it's less like one team's going to win 15 games and they're going to be the favorite, and if someone beats them, it's a shocker. I think any team can really get in there, and you shouldn't be surprised. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think it's similar in that way, and where there's a lot of. I think it's going to be close in both division or in both conferences. I just think that one conference is good and the other one is like pretty mid.
Well, yeah, I was going to do into that too, where I think the AFC is really, really good.
Oh yeah.
And I think the NFC is a little banged up, a little bruised. They're gonna dog it out. Let's put.
Yeah, see, certainly the old head division.
Yeah,
That's right. That's why them boys we like it.
That's why Josh loves it.
them boys.
1994, baby. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Austin, what a great lead into mine, because you said there's a lot of parity, and okay.
Old heads,
Man. Old heads.
I'm out here. I'm out here searching. Okay, you're out here looking for parity. Everyone's being good. I'm searching for dynasties this year. Okay, someone's gonna prove themselves to me. I'm looking for who it is. Is it Kansas City showing me that they're still on top? Is Tom Brady gonna tell me that he still should be playing football at 45? It maybe is a young riser going to come in. Maybe a Justin Herbert comes in and says, I'm here to stay. Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen. Who's here? Somebody needs to come up and claim that top throne, because although parity is great and we all like to, see that, there needs to be a narrative. Someone needs to be the runaway. Right now it's Buffalo. Nunez is right. Buffalo's the trendy team. They got swagger. They do. They got a lot of talk. They're hot. People like them. Maybe it's them. Maybe they're out here saucing on them,
as some would say.
Yeah, I mean, some might say. Who's to say? And I'm looking for that next dynasty, okay? Is it Buffalo? I mean, they were there in the 90s. If going to Super Bowls makes you a dynasty, they were once a dynasty, okay? Sure, some of us like to win them, but you can't always, and that's
Cowboys
okay.
Don't, am I right, everybody?
They've been allergic to it for many years.
Anyways, yeah. I think almost the flip side. Like, I kind of agree with Austin's side of this. Like, to me at least, the narrative is, and part of that is what I was talking about, like player movement and quarterbacks changing and whatnot. I think the narrative this year is that it's kind of just like batshit all around. Like, there are plenty of permutations of like playoff matchups and Super Bowl matchups or whatever that you could have, and I wouldn't even be surprised. I'll look at my standings real quick from the simulator that I did. Let's see. And see, I'll give you a number of how many teams from each conference I can reasonably see going to the Super Bowl. How's about that? I will give you 5 from the NFC and 7 from the AFC. I think all 7 of the teams I have making the playoffs could, and I know, oh yeah, of course they made the playoffs. They could go to the Super Bowl, but like, these are 7 teams that I think that if things go right, because a part of it is just things going right for these teams, right? There are 7 teams to me in the AFC that I have making the playoffs, and I think if things go right for them, then I could see them playing in the Super Bowl in February. And I think there's 5 in the NFC, personally.
Yep.
So I'm just excited, and I think part of it is like, we are definitely in an overlap period that you don't often see in sports, because usually when the old generation is phased out and the new generation comes in, it kind of happens swiftly, right? But what were you gonna say, Josh?
I blame Tom Brady. This was it. Kansas City and Tampa 2 years ago. That was the passing of the torch. It's what it should have been.
And this is my point. But it's not just Tom Brady. That's the fun part about it. It's like you have all of these up and coming quarterbacks. You have your Herbert, your Burrow, your Lamar, your Josh Allen, your Patrick Mahomes, your Jalen Hurts, if you think he's really good, like I do. You have guys that you hope can be fantastic. Trevor Lawrence in an actual NFL team this year. He didn't have that last year. He has an actual professional team to play with this year. You still have the number one pick from last year. You have these rookies with promise from last year. On top of Kyler Murray, on top of having guys in the latter stages of their career, your Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers still playing at an MVP level into their 40s. You have older quarterbacks like Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson to an extent, all playing good football still. So, there's this overlap period between the old and the new that's making things, it's a little unprecedented. Again, usually you don't get the overlap. It's like a strict passing of the torch. Back in another sport or in another era, everyone would have retired last year with Ben Roethlisberger, and then we would have just moved on with the next generation of quarterbacks. But here we are. The two-time defending MVP is 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's 37. That's beside the point. And then you have the GOAT playing at 45 on a team that's going to be contending for a Super Bowl this year. This is unprecedented kind of stuff, and I think it makes it really exciting, personally. Yeah. So big stuff out of the way a little bit. We're going to move on to some big, I like how Austin's flashing up the target whenever he agrees with one of my points. I appreciate that. We're going to move on to some betting advice. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I have big brain. I can look up some stuff while you guys are talking, but I have one futures bet first that I have already put money down on. So
I have one.
I will have that ready. But if you guys, let's do larger bets. So if you guys have player totals or team over-unders for wins or whatever, if you guys have any of those that you really like, you can lay them down, and then we'll go into some more micro player level stuff.
I'll start it off. I got a player prop that I really liked. Right when you told me about this, I went to one guy, I tried to find his line, and I love it. I'm going over total receiving yards, 1,100 for DJ Moore of the Carolina Panthers. I think that boy Baker is going to ball out. I think he's going to do good. I love Laviska Shenault going to Carolina. I think that only makes him more talented. You'll see later that I really like Carolina because their defense is 2 years removed from being a really good defense, and they were banged up. They're super young. I really like their defense, and I think they benefit from playing in a division like the NFC East that has some bottom feeders. I know Mark was trying to hype up Jameis and Dennis Allen. I think they stinky. So I think Carolina is really good, and I think DJ Moore over 1,100 yards receiving. It's a lock.
I like it.
Yeah. I've got a team over under that I already weighed my money down on because call me crazy. Denver under 10.5 wins. I mean, I don't like this at all. I really think that they're going to be okay. I'm not in on Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos. I don't think they're going to be that good. I think Vegas is at 10.5 too, which for that I'm these teams are just going to beat up on each other in this division. It's a great division, but there's no way all four are winning 10 games. So I'd like the under on that as well. But Denver under 10.5 wins. I don't trust Russ at this point to be great late in the season. The past 2 times we've seen him healthy the entire season, he fell off completely late. He was the MVP 6 weeks into the season, and then it's 198 yards and a touchdown. And it's where the hell did MVP Russ go? So at this stage in his career, coming off a throwing hand injury, I don't think Denver's all that special.
A throwing hand injury in which, if I remember correctly, I can look. He came back and played perfectly fine football.
He played mediocre football.
And then the last 2 times last 2 years you're referring to, the offense went in the direction of the the way that Seattle was running it. When if I remember correctly, the whole let Russ cook movement isn't bred out of the fact that they were letting him run a good offense. It was bred out of the fact that they were holding him back, some would say.
Jesus fucking
I
Christ.
just don't really like. I've never been the biggest Russell Wilson fan. He's good. I've never thought he was a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Like, just never really been that high on him. So maybe it's just me, but like I said, I already put my money on Denver under 10.5. I think they're a 9-win team. Like, I think they could be good, but I don't think they're anything special, especially not in that division. I think the Chargers and Chiefs are just going to eat them up.
Let me
Austin,
transition that
Austin, do you have
into
anything?
the next team win total that I think you all should be talking about instead. Why bet on a team with talent not to win a lot of games when you can bet on the third best team in a division who also has no talent to not win more than 8.5 games, the New England Patriots? Stop. They're the third best team in that division, and they have no talent. They aren't talented. They have a running back by committee of Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson. Great. Maybe they're top 30 running backs if you put them together. They have a wide receiver room full of losers who will get hurt by week 1. Devontae Parker leading that charge.
And Jacoby Myers. All right. Don't disrespect him like that.
Great. Their quarterback might be top 40 in the league. I don't care what anyone says. He has no talent. He can't run around. He is not good at football. And their defense is just shedding players left and right. They're just losing talent everywhere. That team is lucky to win 5 games this season, let alone 9, which they would have to hit for my bet to lose. How are they going to win 9 games and be the third best team in that division? Unless you think they're better than the Dolphins or the Bills, which, hey, if you want to start talking that argument, good for you. Good luck. Have fun.
Austin, I tend to agree with you on my thoughts on the Patriots this year. Also, I just like to mention that they traded away their best offensive lineman for seemingly nothing. And they still don't have an offensive coordinator. So everybody notice that Matt Patricia is calling plays for them right now?
Yeah.
And Joe Judge. They'd be
and Joe Judge. Yeah,
That's
I'm sorry.
disgusting.
That gives me real
disgusting.
that gives me real confidence that Joe Judge could run a competent NFL offense. And I mean, yeah, their defense has shed players like it's nothing. It's Matt Judon. And against they have Christian Barmore, who's good. Jalen Mills is going to be the number 1 corner this year, I guess.
I've seen that before.
He thinks. I love that under. Actually,
I mean, Bill Belichick. This is what he preys on. People like Austin, the teeny brain people who think, I
can't bring myself to bet against Bill Belichick. I just can't do it. I feel like the Patriots might win 9 games.
Did anyone see how the Patriots finished last season? They were the hottest team in the NFL, the most bet to win the Super Bowl after week 10, and they lost 5 of their last 6. They were terrible.
That's just
Did you see
rookies,
them in
man.
that
They couldn't
playoff
come out
game?
big.
Terrible.
Did you see them in that playoff game?
They're
dead. I think Mac Jones is better than Austin is letting on. I don't think he's great, but I think he's a perfect quarterback for Bill Belichick.
You want to talk about guys with no weapons? It goes Justin Fields, Mac Jones. Who's Mac Jones
has 2 tight ends, dude.
Nikhil Harry?
That is correct, Josh.
Yeah.
I mean, holy hell. If these guys just keep drafting, that's the real bullshit, is drafting a guy like Fields or Jones, regardless of what you think, and then giving him dog shit and then saying, hey, man, we're trying to win Super Bowls around here. And Justin Fields is somewhere going, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
I got Darnell Mooney and a bag of rocks that I'm throwing the ball to. Now, I will say, kind of insane that I think it was Justin Fields was the one who said it. Was like, yeah, I had a better receiving core at OSU.
No, that was like a ball sack sports or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just got ball sacked.
Yeah, you got sacked.
All right, my bad. I got sacked. By the way, Serena won, okay, and they're doing a Serena Williams ceremony now afterwards.
Why?
Great.
She got more tennis to play.
She won. She's playing the number 2 ranked player in the world next, so we all know what's coming.
Oh yeah, no,
The
this
fix is in.
Yeah,
She's taking it. She's taking
Alright.
it. I mean, throw it, unleash on her.
What did I say about the Serena talk during the episode? Right.
Man, I'm sorry. She won. All
right. So
She's the
next
greatest of all
up-
time.
boo.
Got some other things to look at. Mark be like, oh, Maria Navratilova was good too. My next
I like
bet.
stuff you-
my next bet, the one that I
Yo,
look
Gail
at,
King. Sorry to interrupt you here, right in the middle. Gail King be rocking it though.
Oh,
Damn.
Shut
Put
up.
on a look at this dress. No, I'm tuning over
up.
to ESPN.
Yeah, tune over to ESPN a day from now when you're listening to this.
No, everyone go look it up. Serena ceremony, Gail King breasts. You know, I mean, they're gonna be
Shut
popping.
up, dude. This is
So-
how you want our first episode back to go.
So we are. I got one player prop bet. It's a combined player prop bet that I like. 2 players together, some would say. And it's a touchdown prop for 2 players on the Arizona Cardinals. Now, we'll talk about the Cardinals and how I'm scared. Because
Mhm.
there's one way that I think the Cardinals should be going, and then there's the way they are going. And then there's the way I'm predicting them to be going, which is kind of in the middle. But what I will say is that there's a prop on DraftKings that's plus 330. That's what I got it at. Plus 330. For James Conner and Zach Ertz to combine for over 17.5 touchdowns this season. Let me run the numbers for you a little bit. James Conner himself scored 18 touchdowns last season for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
After Zach Ertz was traded to the Cardinals, he was the most targeted tight end in the NFL. After he got traded in week 10, whatever it was. How many games did he play with the Cardinals? Played 6 games with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
In those 6 games, he was the most targeted tight end in football. Now, I don't know if you may have heard, the Cardinals are going to be playing their first 6 weeks without DeAndre Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
in which I expect Zach Ertz to continue to be one of the most targeted tight ends in football. And really, the magic number here for Zach Ertz, I think, is like 5 or 6. Like, if he can get to 6 touchdowns this year, I feel pretty confident about James Conner scoring a dozen,
Mm-hmm.
combined rushing and receiving. And I think it's going to happen. And I think it might be a little front-loaded on the season. But I really like it at plus 330 for them to combine for 12.5 touchdowns at least. It's my favorite player prop I've seen this season. IMO.
I like it.
I got a player prop for you.
What do you got?
I did all the negative, got all the negative out about the stinky Patriots. We're going to get in the positive trend here, at least for the first 11 weeks before their bye. The Cleveland Browns have a running back who I believe is the most talented running back in the NFL right now, and that's Nicholas Chubb. His over-under yardage right now is 1199.5. I think he's going to have an excellent season, especially with Jacoby at the helm to start, especially since I suspect Kareem Hunt to be traded at some point in the season. I think this is going to be Nick Chubb's backfield. He's going to get majority of the first and second down work, and he is ultra talented. I think staying healthy, there's no way he doesn't hit that 1,200-yard total, so I think you're really betting on an injury, and I don't like betting on injuries, so.
Yeah, give me 1 second to look. Nick Chubb, over his career, has averaged 83 rushing yards a game. And since his rookie year, in which he split time with Duke Johnson, so the last 3 seasons, he's averaged at least 89 yards a game every season. Now, 89 yards a game, roughly, this year would put you at, 10 times 17, 1,500 yards.
Oh, shit.
So
Now, keep
I
in
like
mind,
that
last year, he only played 14 games. He hit your total,
Yeah.
1260. So I like it. You are betting on an injury. I mean, that's the.
I do like that a lot. I'll be putting some Chad down on it.
Now, everyone who knows me out there, I'm putting a unit on both of my bets tonight. Whatever that means for you, that doesn't matter. I'm putting my unit on it.
I've got one player prop as well.
Times 10.
Mine's also 10. What do you got, Mark?
I've got, call me crazy, got Davis Mills over 21.5 passing touchdowns.
Wow.
It's a low number.
That's a very low number for a guy that's going to start 17 games.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yep.
You know, he's like, they didn't get a quarterback this past season in the draft. Or this past draft.
Nope.
So he's
Just
the starting quarterback in Houston. There's no one else vying for his job. Tyrod Taylor's gone. It's going to be the Davis Mills show in Houston. They've still got Brandon Cooks, don't they? That guy's good.
Yep.
Like, it's not like
good.
The guy is
very
good. It's not like, Brandon Cooks might get 17 of them because I don't know who else he's going to throw the ball to.
You guys are looking at when now we're talking about the ones that actually hit, everyone's betting Josh Allen over whatever his yardage total is or touchdown. These are the ones that are sneaky, not the Mahomes of the world.
Mills.
Exactly. Davis Mills touchdowns. I love
21.5. That's way too
Davis Mills touchdowns, James Conner and Zach Ertz touchdowns, Nick Chubb yards. Like
this is why we're sharps.
This is why we're sharp. We're not square, Mark.
No.
We have never been square in our life. All right?
Davis Mills, the sharpest play you'll hear tonight.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot.
I love it.
Josh, you have anything player prop wise, or we get on to the next?
I did DJ Moore earlier. That's mine.
Oh, right. Sorry about that. I do like the DJ Moore bet, by the way.
Yeah, I like that one as well.
Easily, zero question, the best quarterback he's ever played with in his career, and should be pounded with targets, generally speaking. So I like it. So we're going to move on here and start talking about our predictions for the season. Who we have in the playoffs, who we have missing the playoffs, bold predictions we might have for the year. All of that is coming up right now. So I will start, and I'll give you guys a format here. Easy enough. All I want you guys to give me a few things in your discussion. I want you guys to give me your playoff teams, so your division winners and your 3 wildcard teams. I want you to give me your conference championship matchups, your Super Bowl matchups, and your Super Bowl winner. And then also, I want the golden egg. I want the team that is going to finish with the worst record in the NFL. The team that will be on the clock come Black Monday, this upcoming offseason. The team that you think will be picking number 1 in the 2023 NFL draft. I will start. So my 4 division, and anything interesting or any sort of like bold predictions that you may have along the way. I will start. So in the AFC, we'll turn it here. My 4 division winners are in descending order. So from 1st to 4th seed, I have Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, and Indianapolis. I personally think that Baltimore is obviously the easiest, like worst to first candidate this year. Little fun nibble for you in terms of percentage of snaps missed by starters this last season. The Ravens were the most injured team in the last 25 years and one of the most injured teams in NFL history this past year. Only rivaled by like the 2019 49ers or the Jets in like 2016, I think it was. Few teams have had as many injured players in a single season, including very key parts of their team, specifically their entire secondary and their entire running back room. Almost exclusively all of the running backs tearing their ACL to the point where they were starting Devante Freeman in important stretches last year in the year of our Lord 2021. having all of that remedied means that we basically should just kind of return to where we were 2 years ago with Baltimore, in which they're one of the best teams in the AFC, and can very well win their division, finish as one of the best seeds in the conference. The other three, I think, will probably be pretty chalk, especially the Indianapolis pick. I mean, the AFC South sucks. So there's that. My 3 wild card teams are the Bengals in 5th. And then 6 and 7, I both have coming from the AFC West. I have the Chargers and the Broncos. The Chargers in particular, I'm very excited to see what their defense looks like. It's all a matter of not Chargersing it yet again.
Nunez are doing it to us again.
They've got talent. Well, if they were doing it to me again, I'd be picking them to win the division. I might be picking them to go to the Super Bowl, to be fair.
That's fair.
But they've got a bunch of talent. Let's see if they can stay healthy. That's the question about the Los Angeles Chargers. Now let's move over to the NFC. Some pretty interesting races, I think, in the wild card in particular. But my division winners in descending order, again, are Tampa Bay, number 1. I have Philadelphia, number 2. The Los Angeles Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions, number 3. And then the Green Bay Packers, 4th. Now, the Eagles are... God damn it, I love the Eagles so much this year because I already like Jalen Hurts a lot as a quarterback. And I think it's gone at least a little bit underreported that like the Eagles, arguably with Buffalo, have one of the 3 or 4 best rosters in all of football, particularly defensively. What were the two? What would you say were the 2 biggest things that the Eagles needed defensively this last year? This last offseason? A cornerback, like another prime cornerback to go opposite of Darius Slay, and an inside linebacker.
Yeah.
Who did they get? They went out and got James Bradbury to play opposite of Darius Slay. They drafted Nakobe Dean, and yes, Josh, the third one, the run stopper. They drafted Jordan Davis as well.
The best player in the draft.
The human boulder himself, Jordan Davis. Effectively filling all of the holes defensively. They should still have a top-tier offensive line. Oh, and by the way, they went and acquired A.J. Brown as well. I just like to say that on top of it. So if you haven't heard, A.J. Brown, he is him. All right? He's him. So... the Eagles, yeah, Jesus saves. The Eagles, it took a lot for me not to have them as the number 1 seed in the NFC for what it's worth, because I think they have the best roster in the conference. And usually when it comes down to these like nebulous playoff predictions before the season, I end up just siding with the roster that I like the most anyways. But yeah, so the Eagles 2nd, and then my 3 wildcard teams are the 49ers 5th. I think the 49ers arguably have a case to have the best defense in football this year, and it's all hinging on whether or not Trey Lance is actually good at football. And we'll see. We'll see. If he's good, then this is a team that can compete for the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo has gotten them to 3 NFC championships. So
the good news is they still got that guy.
Yes, they still have him as well. So
are they going to Tua it, you think, Austin?
Well, I mean, yeah. If I think if Trey Lance sucks, then this team's in a position to win. So like they might. Like if he sucks the horn really bad, I think it'd take a tremendous level of suck to do it.
Like 4 weeks of suck.
Yeah, but like if he sucks for like a month, maybe a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
Then it might be Jimmy time. So yeah, the Niners 5th. I have Dallas 6th, just squeaking in the playoffs, and then I have the Minnesota Vikings at 7. The Vikings are a team that's really interesting to me. I like the additions they made defensively. A couple just on the margins kind of things that should help them out, but more importantly, having Kevin O'Connell, coming in as their new head coach, bringing in a fresh, modern offensive scheme I think can help this offense a lot because they have explosiveness all over the joint. And it's just going to come down to whether or not Kirk Cousins is going to Kirk Cousins it, you know? And I think he will, which is why I have them at 9-8, and being the last team in the playoffs. But I do think this offense has the potential to be one of the 5 best in the NFL this year, and that's enough to get you into the postseason normally. So on top of that, we'll move to my matchup predictions. I do have 1 and 2 in both conferences in the respective championship games. I have Buffalo, Kansas City, and I have Tampa Bay, Philadelphia, and then I have the Bills defeating the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl this year. And that's my prediction, and I'm sticking to it. Now, a couple of bold predictions I have before I let it off to you guys because we're running on an hour here. Bold predictions for the season. I have 2. First one, a team I didn't mention that is right outside the bubble there for the playoffs is the Miami Dolphins. And a team I brought up in the beginning of the episode in terms of the prove-it nature of the Dolphins this year. They've done everything they can to build the team around Tua. It's either they've given him all the keys. They got him the offensive line. They have a good defense. They got the weapons. They have Tyreek Hill, for Christ's sake. It's up to him to prove whether or not he's good at football. I do have the Dolphins missing the playoffs. But my prediction is that the Dolphins, although finishing 9-8 this season is what I have them, just over 500, Tua will play well enough is that Tua Tagovailoa is the Dolphins starting quarterback week 1 of 2023. I'm a believer in the talent. I think he's looked accurate. He's got some good zip on the ball. All this can't throw the ball far thing, silly. Tua will be their starting quarterback next season. So it's more of a macro projection. My other one,
Tyreek Hill, Tua, the most accurate quarterback he's ever played with.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
My other bolder prediction is that the Arizona Cardinals, a team that I mentioned earlier, finish well under 500 this season. And the organization cleans house, meaning that Steve Keim and Cliff Kingsbury are both gone next season. And part of this is wishful thinking because I think with those two in the building, they're wasting Kyler Murray's career.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that they've given them contract extensions, the both of them, while maintaining that they don't have to actually build a roster around their quarterback. They can kind of just like vibe. It's what Houston did with Deshaun Watson for the last 2 years he was there. They didn't bother to bring in any good players. They just kind of they enabled him to sexually assault women and just trusted him to go out and be himself. And it led to some pretty bad seasons with some pretty gaudy numbers. So I think that could be the case for Arizona this year. And partially it's wishful thinking. But I feel like if they shit the bed this season, then both Keim and Kingsbury are gone. We have a bit of a retooling of the roster this upcoming season. So that's my bolder prediction is that it's actually technically not well under 500, but I have the Cardinals at 7-11 or 7-10 this season. They finish under 500 and clean house this offseason. So whoever wants to take it next can take it next.
I'll go. Division winners, I've got the Bills, the Colts, the Chiefs, and the Bengals. I'm still all in on the Bengals. I think they're going to be really, 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 really good. I think Joe Burrow just showed us the beginning of what is going to be a great career last year. In terms of other playoff teams, I've got the Chargers, I've got the Ravens, and I do have the Broncos sneaking in at 9-8, but just I still don't know if they're a 11-win team like their win total would suggest. For the NFC, I've got the Rams winning that division. I've got the Packers. I've also got the Eagles. and I've got the Bucks. My other playoff teams, I've got the Cowboys, I've got the Bucks, and I've got the Cardinals.
You said the Bucks twice. Who's your second wild
did
card
I?
team?
Oh, I meant the Saints.
Okay.
I've got the Saints. Yeah, the Cowboys, the Saints, and the Cardinals. Funny enough, my bold prediction is also that Cliff Kingsbury gets fired after this season.
I see it almost impossible. I'm sorry to cut in. I see it almost impossible for him to get fired if they make the playoffs.
Because I think they're going to get absolutely blown out in the first round, and he's going to be exposed for being a bad coach.
That happened last year, and he got an extension.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen again, and I think they're going to be like, this guy stinks. Because here, the Cardinals are going to do this again. They're going to go like 7-0 to start the season. And then
the hope with Hopkins not being there is that it's flipped.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, it's not going to be, because that's not how Cliff Kingsbury operates. They're going to go like 7-0. People are going to be like, wow, look at how great this team has been without DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to come back. They're going to just limp their way into a 9-8 playoff spot and just absolutely get destroyed by like the Eagles or something in the first round. And I don't know what exactly the matchup would be, but just get absolutely destroyed. And then they're going to be like, wait a minute. Let's look at this guy's career going back to Texas Tech. You're telling me he has never been good in the second half of a season, even when Patrick Mahomes was his quarterback?
Yeah, I'll never forget that Texas Tech. What was it, the Oklahoma game? He played Baker that year.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech, Oklahoma game that was like 130 combined points or some shit like that.
Yeah. It was one of the greatest football games I've ever.
Or was it Texas Tech, Oklahoma State?
No, it was Oklahoma. No, it was Oklahoma. Because I remember I was watching that game and I was like, this is what Big Ten football is, and I love it.
Big 12. Don't
Big
disperse the Big 12 like that.
Whatever.
Poverty conference.
The Big Ten has more teams than the Big 12, so whatever. I always sucked at football conferences. But I think they're gonna limp their way again with a shitty second half to a playoff spot, and they're just gonna be like, man, this guy fucking sucks. I think the GM's gonna stay just because I think he's going to put all of the blame on Kingsbury and fire him, and then he'll get, maybe another year or something. Because that's typically how it works. But I just, I really don't think Cliff Kingsbury again, it's wishful thinking because I think he's a really bad coach. So I want Kyler to have better, but I just don't see it happening. My AFC Championship game, I have Bills Chiefs. I think we're going to get just an absolute banger of an AFC Championship between the two of them. And in the NFC, I've got the Packers and I've got the Rams. And I've got the Packers beating the Rams, and I've got the Chiefs beating the Bills. So we've got a Chiefs-Packers Super Bowl. Who
do you have winning that Super Bowl?
The Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm lighting a candle, by the way.
He's back. He's got the dynasty re-emerging,
But
solidifying.
Patrick Mahomes is so good. Like, I get it. The wide receivers are
hashtag analysis, by the way. Patrick Mahomes good at football.
Yeah, but it's so hard for me to pick against this guy because he just blows my mind. He's coming off of his worst season last year, and they went 12-5. Like, and I don't expect him to have a quote-unquote down year. He was still very good. To have another quote-unquote down year. And I get Tyreek Hill isn't there. Oh no, they lost the 30-year-old wide receiver who only relies on his legs.
Oh, boo. That's a bad take. That's a bad take.
He's really good, but I don't think he needed to be in their long-term plans. Like,
I'm with Mark.
Yeah, like Tyreek Hill's really good, and he'll be great in Miami, and I think he's a great guy to add for Tua. But at this point, I don't think he needs to be in the long-term plans for the Chiefs. Their wide receiver core is a little strange right now. What? You got Daffy Duck jaw drop. I love
Hey,
it.
keep talking. This is an exercise in improv, Mark.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yes, and.
Yes.
Yes, and. Yes, and.
Yes, Daffy Duck and beer.
Yes, and.
But yeah, I've got the Chiefs winning it. It's hard for me to pick against Patrick Mahomes. And as much as I would love to see the Bills win it, I think they might be a little cursed this season for a little storyline that just recently went down.
No, we don't put hands up for that.
Oh, I don't have that one queued up anymore. That's tough.
You shouldn't. You definitely shouldn't put it on the screen. Now, all right, who wants to go next? Josh Ross. You guys want to rock? Paper, scissors,
I'm gonna save the best for last, so I'll go third here.
Okay.
I actually have the same exact NFC as Mark. Give me Bucks, Rams, Packers, Eagles. I had the Cowboys. Every time I do this, I have the Cowboys winning the division, and then I tried to look at those teams on paper, and the Cowboys kind of aren't nearly as good as they have been the past couple of years on paper, I guess.
And just not nearly as good as the Eagles on paper.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I think both of those are pretty indefensibly true. Yeah.
This is all paper. That's one of the problems.
Yeah.
But I do still have the Cowboys making one of the wild cards. I have the Cardinals limping in as well as Mark. And then I have the Vikings as my last team instead of the Saints instead of Mark. And then on the AFC side, Bills, Ravens, Colts, all the same as I think, Mark said the Bengals. But same as Nunez there. And then I actually have the Chargers winning that division.
Ooh.
And then I'll have the Chiefs and Broncos making the wild card. And then the surprise, leaving out the defending Super Bowl losers, I'll have the Dolphins being the last team in the playoffs. I will have the team who loses the Super Bowl again slumping as they have in the last 5 years for no apparent reason.
Well, I think it was Bill Barnwell was on the Mina Kimes podcast a couple weeks ago where he talked about the NFL season projections, and one of the projections had the Bengals as like the 8th best odds in the AFC to make the playoffs or something like that. And like part of it is just computer numbers, but also the other part of it is like, is it not a feasible world where the Bengals come back down to earth a little bit and other teams just kind of fill the spot? I mean, we got to remember that, 5 playoff teams a year miss out on the playoffs the next season? I believe it's 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
A number similar to that. So these things happen. It's not to say that like the Bengals will definitively have a bad season even if they miss the playoffs. It'll be disappointing.
I actually do have them winning 10 games. It's one of those
but like they can go and they can go 10-7 and still miss the playoffs and have a good season and have it be disappointing. Like all of these things can happen together. But yeah.
Yep. I mean, honestly, it's not like I forced them out. It just happened as the tiebreakers really played this one out.
Yeah.
The Dolphins and them I see as equals. I just think Dolphins play in a worse division, so I think they have a better shot to sneak some easier wins. But when we get to the AFC Championship game, I have the Bills and the Chargers meeting. They're the 1 and the 3 for me. The Ravens were the 2. Then on the NFC side, I have the Rams and the Vikings, the 2 and the 6.
The Vikings.
I just don't see why with that offense they can't explode and win a couple games in a row and go bonkers.
They certainly can. This is where the Kirk Cousins factor comes in.
Yeah.
Yep.
At some point, Kirk will have to stop being safe Kirk, and he'll have to be chance-taking Kirk to beat some of those good teams. But I think he can.
Are you saying to let Kirk cook?
Well, it's really just the question of whether or not the new offense is going to change his tendencies.
Yeah.
Honestly. But that's the big X factor.
I mean,
so who wins it?
I actually do have the Vikings making the Super Bowl and getting annihilated by the Bills. But
53, Vikings 7.
I just think if the Bills make the Super Bowl, I think they're just a team with too much swagger and too much confidence to lose that game. I think that just like Kirk Cousins is the type of guy to go in the Super Bowl and freeze up. Josh Allen's not the type of guy to go to the Super Bowl and freeze up.
Hey man, Joe Shiesty had some swagger last year That dude didn't win.
And he didn't freeze up. He played a great
No.
game. They just lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was hit like 15 times
By Aaron Donald.
That too, the defense who's going to make more plays is the Bills defense. So, I don't know. I got Bills over Vikings.
All right, Josh, what do you got?
All right. Now, a lot of people know that I tend to be pretty biased in these, but I think this one's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. I don't like it.
Cowboys
put it this way.
15-2.
No, the Cowboys win the division, but it's pretty reasonable. It's mostly based off the fact that I think they just dominate the division in the sense of I think they go 5-1, and I think I must have just screwed the Eagles here at one point because I think they can probably too. What? No, I'm saying I think they split with the Eagles and then they win the rest. The Eagles probably do the same, but I'm saying the division stinks, and then that's probably why. So 12-5 is their record, but that's not. Maybe a game or two more, but they win the division. It's fine. And for the Bills hate that I give, they also went 12-5 in this. They're also in the playoffs, and they win a playoff game. So that's just the preface.
Get that out of the way.
Now,
Yep.
Yeah.
You get that out of the way that he said in the playoffs not winning the division, by the way.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, they're not winning the division.
Yeah, that is utter crack rock speak. But continue. Yeah, continue.
I mean, it could be, I guess. I don't know. I'm just, I'm just a guy trying to fill out a sheet. Okay.
I swear to
Biggest
God, if he has
Zach
New
Wilson
England
fan.
winning the division, I will end this call right now.
No. It's the team with talent, and that's the Dolphins. So the
Oh,
Dolphins,
okay. Yeah, the team with talent.
the Dolphins, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Raiders are the division winners from the AFC. And then
Wait, what?
That's right. The Cowboys.
Repeat that?
Okay. The Dolphins, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Raiders. Okay.
I don't
Now
hate
the
any of
NFC.
that. I'll tell you right now.
You don't hate any of that? Did you say?
No, those are all my fourth place teams except the Jags, and I don't hate any of it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even joking. I think the Browns, reasonably, they get to Deshaun Watson at 2 or 3 over 500. They can win that division. The Raiders, I have them winning 9 games, coming in fourth. I mean, they can
Right.
easily
They don't have.
win the division.
Let's be clear. Record-wise, the Browns win it at 11-6. The Jaguars at 10-7, and the Raiders at 12-5 again. Like no one's going 15-2 or anything. So, then the Rams, the Packers, the Bucks, and the Cowboys. That's pretty chalk. And so I got.
He's had that queued up for 20 minutes.
I found it the moment I saw that Austin looked up once. I found it, and I've been waiting. In terms of playoff wild cards, we have in the AFC, we have the Chiefs, the Chargers, and the Bills. And then we have in the NFC, the Cardinals, the Niners, and the Eagles. Okay. This list was not that bad. Okay. In the first round, or what'd you guys do? First round, or did you say the rankings?
AFC Championship and NFC Championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
NFC Championship, we got a repeat. We got a rematch. Rams Bucks. Okay. And I have the Bucks taking that one. And then in the AFC, I have a AFC West matchup. Raiders Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
That's not that ridiculous. The road to get there is ridiculous, but that's not really
Sure.
ridiculous.
Absolutely.
And I'm setting up for the you went with that motherfucker Super Bowl. Okay. It is the Raiders Bucks. You went with that motherfucker, and that motherfucker walks it off and retires him. Raiders win the Super Bowl. That's it, baby. You got to think big time storylines. It's the Raiders. It's Vegas. What's better for the NFL than Vegas popping off? Okay, we all love Vegas. Vegas.
Tom Brady
is hot,
winning another Super Bowl.
Yes.
but he's there, and that's enough in my mind. So big time storylines here. Things to look for. Yes, the Jaguars win the division. Okay. I don't have as much faith in the Colts. I think the Colts are just bad. I don't think a quarterback saves that team anymore. I think they've wasted the defensive years. Now it's just Darius.
They
Leonard and a
added
couple of
players
guys.
to that defense, right?
Did
A couple things to preface. First of all, it's not Darius Leonard anymore. He's going by Shaquille
gone?
Leonard now. No. Apparently, no one calls him Darius in his personal life, and that's his middle name. And I don't know why that was ever written on his thing. Yes, his name is Shaquille Leonard. Just pointing that out. Second of all, they added Chandler Jones and Stephon Gilmore to their defense. So
that's cool. That is cool. That is.
Yeah, we're just gonna brush that off.
They're pretty good. They're
winning 9 games
pros.
max.
Who needs them?
Chandler Jones led the league in sacks last year, right? I mean, he was pretty good. He's pretty good.
He did not, but he finished in second. I
He was
believe.
close. Okay. I do like Matt Ryan there, but I don't think hear me out. I'm under the impression that Michael Pittman is not good. Not very good.
What?
I still don't think they have any offensive talent on the team, really.
Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, sorry, that guy. Yeah, he's all right. And so, point is, they're in a stinky division. The Jaguars get really good this year. Other big-time storylines to look around. Mark, I kind of feel you with Denver. I've picked Denver to make the playoffs the last 2 years. They fucked me, okay? So now I'm out on the Denver
They
train.
had Teddy Bridgewater as their quarterback last year.
That's right. I was a Drew fan, okay? I still think Drew gave them more chances to win. He should have been playing last year, in my mind. In my mind, he still should have. Sure, Teddy sucked, but we don't know.
But now you're plopping. So this is just saying, you've had them to make the playoffs the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And with bad quarterbacks.
I get what you're saying.
And now you're plopping a likely Hall of Famer onto that roster.
Yeah.
And now you have them missing the playoffs.
That's right. But I've undervalued other teams before. And now
I was just making sure we were clear here.
We're on the same page.
Okay.
I love Josh's logic for these.
They finished 6-11 in my thing. I've spited them off. I have them finishing 1-5 in the division and getting train wrecked by them. So that's a bummer. Big time storylines also to look around in. Mike Tomlin will not go 500, but Bill Belichick will also not go 500. Okay, those are big ones to look at.
I do have Tomlin's 500 streak ending. I have them going 8-9 this year, just barely.
I have them 7-10.
You said that the Patriots won't go 500. I said under 8.5 earlier, and he goes, "This is what the peewee little brains are thinking." What?
He said, "This is what the peewee little brains." Turns out, this was the Vince McMahon, Steve Austin bamboozling all over again. Josh just comes out. It was me, Austin.
Dude, did you?
I'm the pea brain.
All right. Other big things. Let's look at one of my favorite divisions to look at, the NFC North.
Ew.
Because because I think Chicago's going to be fun. I think Nunez, for a long time now, you've probably watched games and thought, God, I don't want to watch football. But I think watching this offense, you might want to watch football some more. I'm not saying you're going to win. I'm winning 3 games. I think Chicago's going to be fun.
Justin Fields is my favorite football player on planet Earth. So
that's right. I also think that the Lions finish higher than the Vikings. I think the Lions have built something.
That I don't think is ridiculous.
Yeah, I like the Lions.
I'm all in on the Lions. The Lions were one of the teams when we were doing this. They started 7-0, and I had to be like, okay, let's calm down. They finished 9-8. That's about right. But I just had to, you got to make it look right. I don't think they're winning 12 games, but I think they're better than the Vikings. I don't think the Vikings are very good. And I think, that primetime Kirk thing, whatever. Other big storylines, NFC West, whatever. Carolina barely missed out on the playoffs. They were right there with Philadelphia. I have them being very good. We already talked about that. And my big storyline next year, this time, we're talking about quarterbacks moving around. You didn't mention him earlier, Nunez. You probably think of him in that Hurts territory. But there's a quarterback who, after this season, if my prediction's right, will still only have one playoff win after a couple years in the league. And it's time to put up or shut up. And Lamar Jackson is going to be forgotten by his division. When Kenny Pickett starts playing, Burrow, Watson, Lamar Jackson's going to be the 4th best quarterback in his division with one playoff win, and his team's going to be bad.
So we're going to put this on record right now.
Yes.
That you think that Kenny Pickett is going to be better than Lamar Jackson this season. That's what you just said. No. That's what you just said.
No, I'm saying next season we're going to start thinking that. Yes.
Can you elaborate on how many playoff wins?
But that would be based on this year.
How many playoff wins on Touch My Penis has?
0 is the answer.
Well, that's true.
Oh, really? He has 0.
We're talking about just
that's fair. No, Lamar Jackson should be really scared then. Yeah, he should be really scared.
Lamar Jackson has also won an MVP where Deshaun Watson has not done that.
No, yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it's fine though.
Sure, at the pro level. It's a lot harder to do at the collegiate level. There's a lot more teams. Okay. More
Lamar
players.
Jackson won a Heisman.
Yeah, he
Yes.
also did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did
Did he do it? Did he do it while not assaulting women? Huh? That's
Yeah.
pretty
All
hard
right,
to do.
well,
to
we're
hide
not
that
doing
and still
that.
win one.
We're not doing that.
Yeah, I
mic
think
drop.
he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think. Yeah, Burrow misses out. The Ravens miss out. The AFC West dominates. The Bills win. They make the playoffs. And then the Cardinals, Niners. Yeah, I went through it all. And then what was my matchups here? Oh, yeah, so I had the Bills beating the Jaguars in the first round and then losing to the Raiders in the second round.
Yeah, okay. Well, aside from that, I didn't ask this question. Who will end on this? Who do we think is going to be picking first overall in the NFL draft next season? Who's on the clock? once the
Seattle.
season ends?
That team
Yep.
is fucking horrible.
They're 1-16 in mine.
I'll
Yeah.
raise you a team that's worse than the Seattle Seahawks. The
Don't
New
say
York
that.
Football Giants.
Don't say the 6-win Giants.
No, I'm saying the 6-win Giants. Truly. And I'm
They're winning 6 games.
the Giants, and this all comes down to defensive prowess and the fact that I think Geno Smith can be okay. Like
Has the
simply
first pick in the
okay.
draft ever started 1-0?
What?
Because they're going to start 1-0 this year. Because they
Who
got
they
the
play?
poo pee pee Titans to start.
Oh. Anyways, not only do I think I'll say this right now. I think outside of running back, the Seattle Seahawks are better in every other position group on their roster than the New York Giants.
Maybe true.
I'm a firm believer that Daniel Jones is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. They have better receivers than the Giants do.
You think he's worse than Geno Smith?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah, I think Geno Smith is like maybe the 24th or 25th best quarterback in the NFL. Maybe. On a
This
good
was a-
day. I think on a good day, Daniel Jones is like the 35th best quarterback in the NFL.
No.
This
And
is
they
a
have
fun
better
one.
receivers than the Giants. They unequivocally have a better offensive line. The Giants might, if Kayvon Thibodeau has a great rookie season, will have a better pass rush.
Mm-hmm.
But
This is a interesting little thing. I was talking earlier today when Garoppolo contract extension got announced, or restructuring, I should say. This guy, it was Burb. Burb said that he is a top 20 quarterback.
that's
I
silly.
said, give me 10 guys who are better than Jimmy G. That's asinine, right? Like nobody else thinks that here.
Yeah, I think
Is that
that's
right?
silly. Yeah.
10 quarterbacks. Even my dad was like, "Yeah, he's like 22," and I'm like, "Who are 10 guys that could start over him?"
What?
The likes
Jimmy
of
G?
Geno. Yeah, I mean, there were
Probably like
guys thrown out.
55th best
People-
quarterback.
People like Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins were names that were thrown out that they think Jimmy G is better than.
That
MVP
is-
winner. Yeah,
That's not true.
Really?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
blasphemy, right? Okay, just make
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy G sucks.
Like I was like, we can have a conversation about a guy like Wentz or Geno. Obviously, I think he's better than Geno.
Yeah.
Sure, whatever. But like, I mean, name some names where I'm like, what are you?
Also, I'd like to point out that this is an important thing to think of when we're talking about this level of quarterback, is that Jimmy Garoppolo has never actually shown that he sucks. He's just shown that he's aggressively average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never actually shown that he sucks. Just in my little pea brain mind, I see Jimmy G. I see bad quarterback.
I look at Jimmy G and I see. Wait, no, what is that? No, I wanted fucking cake. It's a
All right.
cake one. I don't
All
want
right.
birthday. I
All
want
right.
an ass.
You don't get any ass, right? Okay.
My first pick in the NFL draft. Josh mentioned them already tonight. Probably a fun team to watch this year. The Chicago Bears.
I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see
I
it.
don't know. I don't.
I can see it pretty easily, yeah.
Yeah,
I just don't think they have that much. I like Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney.
I think some other things would have to go right for other teams, because I think like roster wise, I think the Jets are worse. I think the Giants are worse. I think the Texans are worse. So like some stuff would have to go wrong. But I mean, outside of Roquan Smith, who's not going to be there next year, Robert Quinn, who at the age of 30 but also 94, was second in the league in sacks last year, and Jalen Johnson, who's good. They don't have a single other. Oh, Eddie Jackson might be good again. We don't really know, but like they don't have much in terms of a cohesive unit defensively to think that they're going to be able to stop anyone. Like they're playing San Francisco week 1 this year. And we'll talk about this next week. They don't have Akeem Hicks anymore. He happens to play in Tampa Bay, so good luck running the football on the Buccaneers this season. But the Niners might run for 300 yards on them week 1. Like their run defense in particular is just going to be a sieve this season. So, Josh, what are you dipping your head below the camera there for?
Trying to suck my own penis.
Okay.
All right. So
Almost got it.
Anywho, I can see that, but I do have the Giants. And it's not at the fault of the new management or the new coach or anything. I just think they've been given a roster that sucks. Penis and balls.
Surprised me. Was everyone had the Packers winning the division? Just Devante Adams doesn't matter.
I think to an extent Devante Adams doesn't, or I think they'll be able to make do offensively enough, and I think their defense is one of the 5 best in the NFL. So
Aaron Jones might be
in a division where
Deebo Samuel.
In a division where I think the second best team is okay, like I think they can win.
Yeah,
like I think the Vikings are fine. But fine is not good enough. Is not going to be good enough against the Packers this season. Yeah. So yeah, that does it for our. We're golfing now. This is it for our week 1, or not week 1. Sorry, our NFL season preview here on Hot Stove. Remember what I said earlier that I wanted to have it be under an hour?
There was no shot that was going to happen.
We're an hour and a half in. So next week. Yeah, next week we will be doing our full week 1 preview. We'll break down some of the biggest games of the week next week. We'll talk some of our favorite bets for week 1. FanDuel will return next week. We're doing our FanDuel lineups once again. And yeah, that's it. Next week we'll be breaking down week 1, getting ready to start the NFL season. This has been episode 61 of the Hot Soap Podcast, aka The Return, aka We're Back. AKA strap in, because we're coming. I didn't call Siri. Sorry.
I feel like doing a
Siri.
thing now
Siri came off my computer. We're coming. As the great, I can't remember his name now, once said, if you're gonna come on, then come on, and we're coming on. So we will see you guys next week for our week 1 preview in the NFL. For these guys, I'm me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Peace.